Hi everyone and welcome back to Cloudberry Flowers. I can't believe that it is now May already. This year seems to be going by really quickly, and I've been enjoying the amazing weather that we've been having in the garden. It's been so different this spring to the last couple of years that we've had. We've had sunny days, really dry weather. We've had to be watering the garden, which I've never had to do for the last several years in the springtime, and it's been really nice to spend those evenings after work outside pottering and growing some flowers. So today's a bit of a catch up on how I'm getting on, what kind of things I'm growing and what I've been doing. So I hope you enjoy it. Because we've had such beautiful weather and there really hasn't been any rain and there's been a real lack of wind this spring, the garden has looked really beautiful. We've got all these lovely narcissi that have been out that I've been enjoying, and then the azaleas have started to come out. The rhododendrons are just starting to come out this week, and the blossom has been beautiful on the trees. Usually the blossom comes out and then we have some wind or rainstorms that come through and it's just gone within days, but we've had such a lovely couple of weeks of it. Cathy, our dog, has been enjoying the summer evenings in the garden as well. It really is nice to come out and be able to spend time out here. But let's go back now into the greenhouse and see what I've been doing there. So I'm still trying to work out how to make the most of peat-free compost, and I'm not sure whether I've found a variety that's my particular favourite yet, but what I have been doing for putting my little seedlings in is I've been mixing in some vermiculite into the peat-free compost just to lighten it up a little bit and make sure that I've got any larger bits in the compost taken out, so any larger sticks and things, and then that just makes it slightly better texture for putting these little seedlings in to grow on a bit. So I've just been filling up my cells with this nice mix of the peat-free compost and the vermiculite, and they'll be ready for pricking out some of my little seedlings into later this afternoon. So pricking out seedlings is something I always have very good intentions to do and keep on top of, and I start off quite well. I can see here I've potted up all these Papillium into cell trays, and I've got some cornflowers here that I've potted on, and I've got some sweet peas as well, but it tends to tail off a little bit and I need to keep reminding myself to do it as the season gets busier. How do you find pricking out and potting on? So these are some of my cosmos seedlings and they're ready to be pinched out now, so we'll go and have a look at how to do that. So these cosmos are growing really well now. They're nice and strong and bushy and they are ready for pinching out. So if you grew them just like this, you would get some flowers, but we can get far more and a much bushier plant if we pinch it out. So to do this, I'm just going to go down to the base of the plant and I'm going to look and see how many pairs of leaves it's got. So we've got those base ones there, so I'm not going to cut it there. I'm going to go up another level and I'm going to look up here to see where the next branching outside shoots are. So I want at least 2 pairs, so we've got 1 and then we've got 2, and I'm just going to snip it out there. And you just take your snips and just cut above and remove that bit, and it seems quite brutal, but that will make for a much bushier cosmos plant, and we'll check back on it in a couple of weeks time and see what it's looking like then. For more information on pinching out cosmos, I have got a video about this as well, and I'll leave a link at the end of the video to this one too. So these here are some of the seedlings that are ready to go out. So these are cornflowers. Started them off in February, managed to pot them on into larger pots, and now I'm going to harden them off outside the greenhouse, outside in the daytime for the next week, and then get them planted out. So this could have been done earlier. We're now in May, so this could definitely have been done in April, but time's got away from me and it's just trying to fit everything in around work and family life and all the different things that we've got going on. But now it's definitely time, if you're like me and you're a bit behind, it's time to be getting these hardy annuals out. So hardening off for me means going out to the greenhouse in the morning before work and getting all my seedling trays out and putting them outside. If the weather isn't so great, I might find a more sheltered spot for them. And then when I come home in the evenings after work, then I'll pop them back in the greenhouse and I'll keep putting them in and out for a good week, 10 days before planting them out in the garden. One of the things that I've been really looking forward to growing more of this year is sweet peas, because they were so successful last year. Last year was probably the best year I've ever had for sweet peas. I don't know whether it's because they like to change in location back up to the south facing flower patch, or weather just agreed with them a little bit more last year. It wasn't the greatest of summers. We had quite a cool, wet summer last year, but sweet peas do like cooler weather. They like the sunshine, but they do like cooler weather, and so maybe that suited them last year. So we're having a good go at sweet peas this year, growing more than I've ever grown before, new varieties, and hopefully I'll be able to show you that in a minute, how I'm getting along, what stage we're at with that. So outside in the flower patch, I have been building my sweet pea frames to grow my sweet pea seedlings up against. And for this, I use biodegradable netting that I've bought online. So this length is 2 meters by 5 meters, but you do get them in different ones to suit your frame. And I use 8-foot bamboo canes and tree stakes as well. So I start off by putting a tree stake in at the end of my row, and then intervals down along it. I then push my 8-foot bamboo canes down into the ground, and they're about a couple of inches apart each one. And then I use some horizontal bamboo canes just to run along the length of the framework and tie into the individual canes. And I use a horizontal row of bamboo canes closer to the top and about halfway down as well. And so these are all tied in with twine to give it a bit of stability. And then the horizontal netting is then placed on over the top of the canes. And this provides a really nice framework for them to grow up against. So here you can see where I've just looped over the biodegradable netting at the top, and then it just falls down to the bottom as well. And you can use some pegs to just secure it at the bottom and stop it flipping around if you want to. And I just tie it into those horizontal bars at the top as well for a little bit extra security. And then the sweet peas are all ready to plant out and grow up against the bamboo canes. So as they grow, I'll be able to tie them into these, and it'll provide some nice support as the plants get bigger. And hopefully I'll be able to enjoy lots of lovely flowers later on in the season. So I've got lots of sweet pea varieties that I'm trying this year. Some I've grown before, like Anniversary, but lots of new ones I'm trying as well. I've got Royal White, we've got Queen of Hearts, we've got Molly Rilestone, Charlie's Angel, all sorts of different ones. I've got Cathy as well, and Ensign. So I'm going to let you know how these get on as the season progresses, and we'll see if there's any favourites there that provide nice long stems for cutting and some glorious scent as well. Have you got any favourite sweet peas that you are growing this year? Let me know in the comments if you've got any favourites. Some of my beds have been getting really overrun with grasses and nettles, so I've been clearing some beds to allow direct sowing of hardy annuals. So by clearing some of the beds and moving the perennials to new locations, it's freed up some space for some direct seed sowing. So this week I have sown some Nigella seeds and some Phacelia into this particular bed. Hopefully we'll get fairly quick germination due to the nice weather at the moment, so we'll check back on that in a week or two and see what we can see emerging in the beds. It's going to be quite important to keep these beds moist to allow germination to happen, because there literally is no rain at the moment at all, so quite unusually having to water fairly often in the week, and I'm generally doing this in the evenings. Clearing beds meant that there was quite a few nettles that I can put to good use. Let's have a look. So one of the things that I do have quite a lot of in my garden is nettles, and especially at the moment as I haven't got as much time to keep on top of the weeds and things. But nettles actually can provide a really useful liquid fertilizer and really easy to make and use. It's full of nitrogen for your plants. And so what I do is I go around the garden and I cut, with gloves on, stinging nettles and chop them up into smaller pieces and place in a bucket or any container that you have. And then after that, when I've got a good supply there, I then add some water to it to cover all the nettles. And you could add rainwater, or you can use water from your hose. Just make sure that the nettles are all nicely covered, and then you can put a lid on it. It will smell really strong, what you're creating there, but it is really good for your plants. And you can dilute it 1 part of your nettle mixture that you've got there to 10 parts water, and use this to water your plants. So we'll try that out in a few weeks' time. So last week I was excited to cut some flowers, first of the year, for one of my local florists, and she wanted to enjoy the hellebores that we had out for a wedding, and it was so nice being able to go and cut these in the evening in the sunshine, and they're just at that really good stage for cutting just now. If you cut hellebores early on in the season when the flowers have just come out, then they tend to wilt very quickly. They won't last in flower arrangements, so you have to get them cut at the right time. So here you can see one here that has got the seed pod forming in the middle, and when you've got that, that starts to be a good time for cutting. They'll last a lot longer in the vase. Some of the flowers that you can see that I'm showing you are a little bit earlier. I tend to find that as long as you've got some seed pods on the stem forming and the other flowers might be coming out, they'll still stand up well in water. I just wouldn't be cutting them when all the flowers on a stem were newly out. I would find that they would wilt then. So this hellebore here is perfect stage to cut, and this one as well. You can see that big seed pod in the middle forming. It's nice and mature, and that means it'll stand up well in water. So when I cut them, I put them into deep buckets of water, fill the buckets up quite full, about 3/4 full, and soak the stems well overnight. And these beautiful hellebores that I love to grow are double Ellen varieties. So I've got double Ellen white, double Ellen pink are examples of the hellebores I grow. So as well as those lovely hellebores, there's also some other beautiful flowers I was able to cut. Lovely bluebells from the garden, some scented narcissi, and also some spirea bridal wreath. I've managed to get some of that just at the end of its flowering season, and it's beautiful in bridal bouquets as well. And it just adds some texture and some airiness to a bouquet. I just love its slender stems with its tiny white flowers on it. So if you've got some lovely sunny dry weather too this weekend, I hope you can enjoy getting out in your gardens as well. It's really super to be able to enjoy the blossom on the trees and things. It's not coming off in the wind this year in the rain, and the gardens are beginning to look spectacular with all that new growth on the perennials coming, and you can see your hardy annuals just putting on some new growth, and this is a very exciting time of year, I always find. And if you're thinking, oh, there's not much colour in my garden, what can I do? It is a little bit of a transition time between those spring flowers when the tulips and the narcissi are over, and when you start to get all those lovely annuals coming through. So if you're having a bit of a gap, then please do look at my May flower gap video that I've got. I'll put a link to it at the end of this, and it might give you some suggestions for how to tackle that next year in your planning. So thanks very much for watching today. I hope you enjoyed a catch up with what's happening at Cloudberry Flowers. I'm going to try as much as I can to get videos out to you and show you where we're up to as things get going a bit more in the garden over the coming months, and I'm able to cut some flowers for our local florists, and hopefully do a little bit of flower arranging just for myself as well, and I can show you what I like putting together and the arrangements that I make for friends and family still.